What's up? Hey Kipsters, let's get to work. Alright, day 2, video number 3. Hopefully you're on track, because Friday we're going to have a fun game in class. Alright, this video was all about conversions with fractions. Conversions is just when we take one thing and change it to something else, but it's still equivalent. So if I wanted to convert or change a dollar into quarters, I would have 4 quarters. $1 and 4 quarters are the same. All I did was convert or change. I made a conversion. Okay, so now we're going to do conversions when we're changing from one thing to another, but one of these things has a fraction, which makes it more challenging, which makes it more 7th grade ready. Okay, let's check it out. A primary student is 3 3/4, there's the fraction, feet tall. If there are 12 inches in every foot, how many inches is the student? Alright, so let's check this out. When we have a conversion, we have 2 different types of units. So I can see here that the student is 3 3/4 feet tall, but it's asking us about inches. So those are my 2 different units, feet and inches. To go from feet to inches, I have to know the unit rate, or my conversion rate. Just like in $1, there are 4 quarters. So right here, I can see that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I have my important information. The student is 3 feet and then 3/4 of a foot tall. And then we know that in each of those foot, there's 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches. So I want to figure out changing from feet to inches. I'm going to convert or change. All right, let's check it out. So I'm first going to draw my conversion chart. Hopefully you guys remember our fantastic song. What do we have? What do we need? Take out your BFFT. Draw your arrow from side to side, then multiply or divide. I know, it's so catchy. Alright, let's do that one more time. What do we have? In this problem, we have the feet, because it's telling us exactly how many feet the student is. So I'm going to draw my beautiful little chart. You guys can make yours a lot more beautiful than mine. What do we have? We have the feet, and I'm going to write have up here. Then we're going to say, what do we need? We need what the question's asking about. The question's asking us for inches, so I'm going to write inches right here. Now we're going to write down how many feet we have. We know we have 3 3/4 of a foot, and we want to change that to inches. Now we're going to take out our BFFT. Our BFFT might be our park resources that tell us what it is. Sometimes the problem gives it to us. This problem is super nice. It actually gave it to us. It says there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I want to be really careful. This 12 is for the inches. So when I put in 12, I want to put it under inches. So I know 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. Let me show you guys that again. 12 inches in 1 foot, it's just reversed. So in 1 foot, I have 12 inches. Now, we're going to draw our arrow from side to side. I'm going from 1 foot to 12. I'm getting larger, which means I'm getting more inches in a foot. So I'm going to be multiplying because my number is getting bigger from 1 to 12. So I need to do 1 times 12. Because what I'm saying is every time I have a foot, I have 12 inches. I have a foot, I have 12 inches. Now, in this problem, I know I'm going to multiply by 12 because that's my unit rate in every 1 foot. Remember, a unit has 1 in the denominator. There are 12 inches. So I can do this 2 ways. One way is more of like a 5th grade strategy, and one way is more of a 7th grade strategy, but I want you guys to do whichever way you're comfortable with. If you can push yourself to the 7th grade strategy, that's better. So let's first look at the 5th grade strategy. The 5th grade strategy, which still helps, and it's something that I sometimes do when I'm trying to really understand a problem, is draw it out. So I'm going to draw 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet, because that's how tall the student is, and then I'm going to draw another foot. The problem here, though, is that this one is not a whole foot, because this Kipster is not 4 feet tall. They're 3 3/4 feet tall. So it's kind of like this is a hole, this is a hole, this is a hole, and this is 3/4. So I'm going to actually make it into fours and shade in to show 3 out of 4. Now, because of my conversion here, 12 inches in 1 foot, I know that I can put 12 in this one, 12 in this one, 12 in this one, because every foot has 12, every foot has 12, every foot has 12. And then this one's a little tricky. This is why I said the fraction makes this problem more rigorous or more challenging. this is going to be 3/4 out of 12. So it's kind of like I'm taking 12 and splitting it into 4. So if I did 12 and cut it into 4, that means that each of these would be 3. 3, 3, 3, 3. But I don't have this 3 because it's 3 out of 4. So this one is really going to make 9. Let me show you how I did that again. I took the number 12, because that's how many inches are in a foot. I split it into 4 groups, which makes each group be 3, and then it's 9. It's kind of like doing this. 3/4. If my denominator is 12, because it's actually out of 12, times 3, times 3, that makes 9. So 3/4 of a foot is actually 9 inches. Now what I want to do is add up 12, 12, 12, and 9. I'm doing 12, 12, 12 because we have 3 groups of 12. So I'm going to do 3 times 12. I'm going to do that first. I'm going to put it in my parentheses. Sorry, that got funky. And then I'm going to add 9. When I do that, I should get 45. At mental math, that should make sense because 12 times 4, if it was 4 feet, would be 48. But this is 3 inches less than that, so 48 minus 3 is 45. This is the 5th grade way to do it with a picture. I want you guys to copy this way down, but if this is not the way you want to do problems A and B, that is okay. Now let's check the 7th grade way to do this. If I want to be cool and do this the 7th grade way, I'm going to use multiplication, and I'm not going to use a picture. So with the 7th grade way, I'm going to take what I have and times it by 12. So I'm going to do 3 3/4 times 12. When I do that though, something weird's going to happen here. I have this fraction, and remember, that's why we said this problem is more challenging. So I actually want to change this fraction into a decimal, and we've talked about this. When I think about fourths, I think about quarters, because a whole divided by 4 would be 25 cents. So 3/4, that's just a fraction to decimal percent that I have to know. 3/4 is the same as 75, because 3/4, 25, 50, 75. So this is just like saying 3.75, because that's 3 3/4 times 12. So all I'm doing here is saying I have a little less than 4 feet, which is 3.75, and I'm timesing it by 12 because there's 12 inches in my 3.75 feet. So now we're going to do what we know from 5th grade. Thank you, Miss McGuire. We're going to do 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. 2 times 3 plus 1 more is 7. Now I'm going to come to the tens place. 1 times 5, 1 times 7, 1 times 3. When I add this up, I'm going to get 0, 0, carry the 1, 5, carry the 1, 4. 4,500. Yikes! Well, this is why you're showing me your 7th grade ready, because when you multiply this, you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. This has 2 decimals. 2 numbers after the decimal, excuse me. This one needs to be moved over twice. So when I move that one over twice, it just makes 45. Okay? So these are the 2 different ways we can do this problem. With a picture, knowing that there's 12 inches in every group, or with multiplication, knowing that there's 12 inches in every group, but we have 3.75. We got 0.75 because 75 cents is 3/4 of a dollar. When I multiply, I need to see how many digits are after the decimal, and I need to move this over here. Remember, decimals make numbers smaller because they're only a part, a tenth or a hundredth. That's why this gets moved over. Okay? That is how we're going to do our conversions with fractions. Now you guys are going to work on the next 2 problems. Rock it out. Meow. Also, this is like Tuesday, January 8th, when we just did that song, and all about the bass, no echo mints. That's been stuck in my head, so yeah, just want to let you know. Bye!